Good afternoon. This is Sailor the Piper Man, Piper the Sailor Man. Shout out once again to the tunnel. Let's stay in this communication. It's great. Love it. And with everyone else, let's keep it going, right? There's so many topics that we can touch on. But right now I was doing research because when I first got in industry, I met a man named Nielsen from Denmark. And he created a pipe called the Bjarne. And he was a designer. He grew up, he was born in 1941. And he wanted to be a diplomat. And he was a pipe smoker and he loved designing. He had a great aptitude for designing piping. And but he wasn't a pipe maker. And so he showed his design to certain Danish pipe makers and was wondering if they could make these pipes. And they did. And after a while, he began hiring Danish pipe makers to make pipes for him. And he used his name called Bjarne. B-J-A-R-N-E. The dogs are playing now. And B-J-A-R-N-E, Bjarne. And his legacy lives today in his designs. He high prep homes, Nording to make his pipe. This is a Nording pipe. So his pipes, this is a Nording pipe, design pipe. It's similar to this, the apple shapes and other pipes you can purchase. His design you can purchase. He wasn't a pipe maker now, but the design, the Danish design, he helped create the Danish look. And his pipes were always known to have like a orange color. He was a very happy man, gregarious man. Came a couple of times to New York. I got to meet him, and he was almost like a sales rep, selling Danish pipe, representing Danish pipe. But he had pipe makers make his pipe. His legacy lives on today. I was gonna buy Bjarne estate pipe just to collect it, because that's my favorite pipe all time. His designs are my all-time favorite. Bjarne, you told me Bjarne, I'm gonna go take pictures of it. I really truly believe this man was an artist. Not only that, a great engineer, a lot like Nording. And he will have other pipe makers, and his legacy lives on a line that is still sold by Pipes and Cigar called the Viking Classic line, or the Viking line, or Viking Barbone, something like that. So if you go into Pipes and Cigars and you go search and you put Viking pipes, those designs that you see there are Bjarne's designs that were eventually, because of taxation and pipe making skills, and after he died in 2008, his pipes began being made in Italy. The craftsmanship is there, and you always get people saying, oh, well, you know, he wasn't a pipe maker. Well, you don't have to be a pipe maker to make a great design. You know, despite, oh, it's not the same. They always say that. It's like if Dr. Graybo got up and decided, oh, we're going to Italy. So making the pipes, we would say, oh, but it's not the same. Or if the munition company left the corn cob company left the country, we would say the same thing. They would have the same process and made in Italy or France or wherever. We would say the same thing. Oh, it's not the same quality or whatever. That's not the point about the Bjarne pipe. What is important is Bjarne pipe is smokability and the design, its efficiency, its engineering, and gives you excellent smoke. It's not about his craftsmanship is in his design. It's like an architect. You got architects that make great designs, but is he the one that's actually building it? No, you have people, construction workers, union workers, electricians. They're the ones building the thing, but he's the design. He's the architect, and it's beautiful. You can see those designs. You can see those pictures on pipe and cigar magazines. Still, those designs that I saw 40 years ago is still being made, and I'm so happy because I'm about to order one to have it in my collection because it means a lot to me. You know, I love Danish pipes. I love their design. Just like their luxury liners, state of the art. Well, their pipes are state of the art. To me, I don't care who makes it, as long as they make the design I like, right? Peterson just got sold off a while back to another European country, but they're still making the pipe. Now, they're going to stay in Ireland? I don't know. I mean, how many companies move to China? You still buy the products. Sometimes they don't even put made in China, but it comes from China. I'm smoking that Rossi. I think this is the second or third day me breaking it in. Smoking well. I'm smoking Lane Q1. I haven't smoked it in a while. I think, why am I going to explain it, right? Practically everybody smoked it. Very mild. Got that Virginia with black Cavendish. I think it has a vanilla casing or topping on it. Great smelling. People love the smell. And so I'm smoking it, and I'm watching a gentleman called Old Carolina Pipe Cottage. And he has a real deep accent, where he's very much a traditionalist. And I like what he said about how they used to have the smoking jackets, and after a meal, people used to go to the parlor and smoke. I think that was so cool. I mean, those are bygone days, right? Some things are better left back then because they just did it better. It seems to me that the production lines have slowed down somewhat. Peterson's and Savinelli's. Chacombe and St. Claude pipes. There's a couple of nice pipes. I want to get me a Chacombe and I want to get me a Comoy. Hopefully I can get me a St. Claude pipe. Just to have it. That's so one great Danish pipe with the horn stem. I love those, man. I had a good friend who was also he used to buy my house plants. He used to come in. He was an executive lawyer, and his hobby was to hike. And he hiked all over the United States, backpacking, by himself. He had been doing this for a long time. That used to be done a long time. I used to hike, but I wasn't one to go alone. I always felt that you should go in pairs. So I was a Boy Scout. I was a second-class scout. I promised to do my best to do my duty to guide my country into the way of the scout law, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, morale straight. Yeah. We would go to the Catskill Mountains and go hiking and walking sticks. We used to cut the tree down, make some walking sticks, and I have the backpack and water. That's where I learned to love hiking. I got my hiker's badge, always proud of it. I was proud of being a Boy Scout, man. Things have changed, but back then it was great, I got my badge for first aid. I was always good with the fractures, and so I became a medic, right? It's amazing. I used to go to the library and with my Boy Scout manual, I used to study that. And then I would go into the medic section, first aid section. They had these ancient first aid books, man. Turn of the century, by pioneering people in that field of first responders. So I read about all the techniques. I saw, the CPR technique has been changed so many times, man. Wow, man, some kid is screaming, boy. He's got a loud scream. And so I began studying that, and lo and behold, I was like 14 years old. 15. I came across the Marine Corps manual. And in that Marine Corps manual, you had everything from how to wear the uniform to proper sanitizing you out in the field. And they had the section on first aid. So before I went into the military to become a medic, I already knew this stuff, man. It had changed somewhat, but it's nice to know that I still have those skills in an emergency. My wife is a nurse and my daughter a nurse, and I keep up to date. Once in a while, I'll watch a video on whatever, keep up to date, and you never know when the time might come to save another life, a drowning victim. Hey, you got a lot of big beaches. Do you know more Germans have drowned in Puerto Rico than any nationality? The Germans love coming here. But one thing, bad habit that they have is, first of all, you figure, East Germany, when they had East Germany, they had great swimmers. But the populace, they're not around a body of water. They got lakes and stuff like that. So, a lot of the German guys, you can't tell them nothing. They come here and they think we're third world. And we tell them the waters are treacherous. Be careful with the undertow. Be careful with the shifting currents. You got the Atlantic, you got the Caribbean Sea, and you got the Gulf of Mexico. Much like Western Australia. You go Western Australia and you try to surf, you better know how to surf good, man. Because it's strong tides, high tides, it shift with the wind, shift with the ocean currents, the energy of the earth, the changing of the crust. So they come here and they want to go drinking, carousing. I can understand, right? You're in the crowd. But then after they drink, they get in the water. And as they get in the water, we tell them, hey, man, be careful. Some of us that can speak English, I remember telling one guy, hey, man, be careful and everything. He went out there, he almost drowned. He comes out laughing like that, but I looked in his eyes, he was scared to death, man. He didn't realize. I go, you gotta be careful out there. I respect all these years being in the ocean, swimming in the ocean. I still got great respect for that water, man. I fear it. I get in there swimming. I can still probably half a mile if I have to swim half a mile. And that I'm not conditioned yet, but that make my way in the water, treading or swimming. I can still do it on open water. I'm talking about, but I got great respect, man. I feel that water, man. I seen that thing rise up almost like it's a living organism and just swallow up ships, man. Take a ship down on a typhoon. How many boats have been lost? We kind of get Dominicans that can't afford to try to cross over from Dominican Republic to Puerto Rico have drowned in that water, man. That water between Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic is a treacherous water. The same waters, the inlet from Cuba to the Key West. You better know how to navigate. You better have a strong boat, because it's the pressure on the hull of that. It's no joke. I'm not a bad sailor. I'm pretty good, man. One of my dreams is to get a 30-footer, something like that, for at least 4 people, and sail the Caribbean, man. I always wanted to do that. I always admire Errol Flynn for doing that. He used to live in Jamaica. He'd go from island to island with his pipe, and another great admirer of a famous man who developed the diving apparatus, Jacques Cousteau. When I was a kid, there used to be a program called the Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau. And he was like an oceanographer, explorer. And you can see his videos on YouTube now, and it was a narrated story where he go at this part of the world, and he was into ecology and the environment. Back then, back in the 60s and 70s, he was one of the first ones that were letting us know, hey, we got to take care of the water, we got to take care of the oceans. And I just fell in love with his ship called the Calypso. And he so inspired me, you know. He traveled from, you know, he's a Frenchman with his French accent, and he was a pipe smoker. I believe he smoked a Peterson or a bent Camoy, say claw pipe. And he'd be out in the middle of the ocean. He'd be in the Caribbean. One episode, the next episode, he was out in the Pacific on the Calypso. Really skinny guy with his little pipe dangling on the side. Those things about, because watching those programs is you can fantasize, you can visualize yourself doing that. And I visualized myself going to Australia, going to the Outbacks, watching the America's Cup, and I got to go. Our ship pulled in, our Navy ship pulled in the 1980 America's Cup tournament in Western Fremantle, Australia. What a treat. I had the Australian rugby in the same city. They were playing Australian rules football. I loved that. And watched those guys sail. Oh, ships back then had a different design. But America was on top of the world back then when it came to design, and we had a great captain on America's Cup. And I remember I went and bought myself white. You know, it was all in white. We got out there. I actually bought a captain's hat. Had my right. No, hey, people watching me like, who's this? He must be famous. You know, because they saw I had the ghetto. I was nostalgic. They were like, who's he? He's an actor? Who's he? And I would say to them, good morning. And they say, oh, he's a Yank. We got a Yank here. All the Australians with the binoculars, all the photographers. I was right there with them. I was interested in watching the photographers. Sports Illustrated was there. I mean, thousands of media from all over the world. You're a descendant of Fremantle. Small little quaint Australian town, man. You know, you could get a good brew of Swan beer, a nice steak, potatoes. They had Italian bread, French bread with butter and garlic over it. And then you had your choice of your salad, French, Italian, Russian dressing. The steaks were done on flaming, sizzling steak. You know when you got that fat that's burning in the end, you get that odor. Yeah, man. One of the things I never forget, being abroad, and they've never seen a Puerto Rican. They never, who's this guy, you know? And then they see me all happy, gregarious, and I'm enjoying them, and they're enjoying me. You kind of represent your people. Traveling the world by ocean is just a beautiful thing, man. You get to see the sun rise, birds flying, migration birds just off. You look on the island or the starboard side, and these birds are just flying, man. And sometimes they'll stop and sit in the fantail. And they'll follow our trash, you know. You see the morning trash, or we had tuna or something like that. I will save some of it. I didn't like tuna too much back then. I love it now. I didn't love it like that. But if we had fish or something, I save it. And then the fantail, when the wind was about We were moving about 15 knots, and I seen them birds flying. I would throw the fish up in the air, and they would swoop down and catch it, man. That was so neat. That was so neat, man. Traveling the South Seas like Kontiki did, man. Used to wake up 3 in the morning with dark, pitch black dark. And at the end, on the horizon, you can see a glimpse of light. You can see the circumference. I don't know why these people talk about the earth is flat. I traveled. Earth ain't flat. It's round. But anyway, you can see the sun slowly rising. The temperature. I mean, at night, out at sea, you get cold. Metal, steel, on cold water, man. And you're sleeping in your bulkhead. Man, if you ain't got something good to wrap yourself in, you touch anything that's metal is cold. And I like walking barefoot, so you can imagine. I had to wear my sandals, man. And then, since our berthing space was by the fantail, anytime they opened the back hatchet to throw anything out, the cooks or whatever, man.